Welcome once again to the No Sell Wrestling Podcast, episode 18, I think. Yes, 18. My name is Nick, otherwise known as Tequila. And I am joined once again by the master of horror, the $1 Million Man, Alan. How are we doing?
Yeah, Oakland. The time is upon us. WrestleMania 9. Not really. No, I'm okay. I've got
what a pair we are. Look at this. Look at the two avatars you've got. In case a lot of younger fans probably don't understand how great these two were in their heyday. Even though Jesse wasn't much of a wrestler, Ted was great. Jesse was never much of a wrestler, but on commentary, I still think he's the best. At least the heel commentator. I know a lot of people like Bobby Heenan, and Bobby Heenan was incredibly funny.
Yeah.
Jesse had such a way of making the heels look virtuous.
True, yeah. Obviously, Heenan would call out all the heels, being like that being great and stuff like that. But Jesse was quick to say, "Hang on, he got screwed over. That's not fair." Because what's the referee playing at?
He would call out guys like Hogan when Hogan used to do eye rakes, and he used to do a lot of eye rakes and all these kind of poking people in the eyes and eye rakes and back rakes. And Jesse would be like, "Monsoon, how can look at that? He's cheating." And Jesse was good with Monsoon. Jesse was good with Vince. So he was really good when he was paired with the bland babyface commentators. And then of course you've got DiBiase, who one of the best heels of the 80s for sure. So this is the kind of guys me and Alan grew up with Jesse, listening to Jesse and obviously watching Ted. But yeah, so it is obviously a day late. With all the heat, we tried to get it done. We couldn't get it done last night, so but me and Alan managed to get it done for you before the PLE this weekend. So we are going to cover quickly Raw and SmackDown as normal. There's not much to say on SmackDown.
Well, I've got a bit of a report when it comes to Raw and SmackDown. Actually, I saw an interesting picture on X. Someone took a picture of the hard cam side. Now, this is coming from the O2 in London. Okay,
I've heard
the hard cam side was like about 45% full.
Yeah.
So there you go. They couldn't even sell out SmackDown and Raw in the O2 in London.
And that's in the UK, which is notoriously really good for crowds because UK loves its wrestling. So for WWE to not be able to sell out one of their shows, I think it's just an indictment, Alan, of how bad, in particular, SmackDown is. That nobody wants to go to watch a TV taping of SmackDown. Nobody wants to go and watch a TV taping of SmackDown. People don't want to watch the show full stop. So that should tell you that even a British public. I mean, the fact that maybe it's let's be honest, it's really fucking hot over here. That will put some people off.
It's true.
The World Cup match was on as well. That is also got to be taken into account. England were playing, right? The same night.
Even that was a shit match anyway, but there we go.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been, but it was. So
you can add a little bit. That's maybe a little bit of the reason, but still, as you said, that's an indictment of how bad the program has been, and SmackDown in particular. I mean, Raw's not much better, but it is better. So yeah, we're going to cover Raw and SmackDown. What is it to cover? And then mainly we're going to be covering the preview of the Night of Champions PLE Blood Money 15, whatever it's, Alan, 18.
Yeah, Saudi. No, it's number 15. It's the 15th Saudi pay-per-view.
And lucky them, because that's the market WWE seem to care about the most nowadays. They get 6 matches. They get an extra match, as we just found out. Lucky them. They're going to have 6 matches now rather than the normal 5.
Kind of worrying, really. They're still going over there, but there's still a conflict going on in Iran and Palestine.
Yeah, but Alan, you're forgetting one thing, though. Money.
Oh, of course, yes. The almighty dollar. Sorry.
Money.
Who cares about people's health and safety and their lives when money's at stake? Yeah, of course.
Exactly. Money. Before we start, big up to Ryan in the chat. Big up to Tequila and Alan. How are you both and Princess Cheryl dealing with the heat? Not very well. Really?
Cheryl's gasping. She actually went unpaid today.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, her where she works, they've actually got no things in place to keep everyone safe. So there's no air conditioning or anything like that where she works, and she actually kind of needs to because she works in the childcare sector.
So they have not closed those kind of places down like they have a lot of
No.
the schools. Then
No.
Okay.
No, but today, she said, I'm not. She was an option to go to another unit, but she did that the last couple of days, and she said, well, do you know what? Today I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go unpaid, which is fair enough.
Is Liv actually pregnant? From what I've heard, she is. No idea. I could be really sarcastic and say, I wish I was the daddy, but
who's throwing one up there?
She, I believe, and let me rephrase that. I believe that she is still dating Bo Dallas, who obviously was Uncle Howdy. I don't know if they're still together or not, but that's the last I heard, that she was in a relationship with Bo Dallas. So Bo Dallas might be the dad. Well, if she has got pregnant, and obviously she'll be dropping that title. Well, no, she literally won't be able to have any more matches. She'll have to do what Naomi did.
Yes, that is just drop it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Actually, here we go. Well, according to nefarious sources, this is Google. Liv Morgan is currently single and not publicly dating anyone, despite recent rumors involving Landon Hardwick, whoever that is.
Ryan says she's got somebody new. Alan says she's single. Well, Bo, I don't believe anymore. Then Bo, you let her go. Bo.
All the Fireflies didn't like it, so
yeah.
Maybe
she dumped him after he got canned.
Yep. Her past relationships include WWE stars such as Bo Dallas, Enzo Amore, and rumored links to Tyler Bate. But these have all ended, and she has confirmed that she's not dating anyone currently.
I heard that Tyler Bate was dating Alan's new favorite wrestler, Sol Ruka. I heard that he was dating her.
Was he? Okay.
Apparently. Hey, they're all attractive people. Let's be honest. We'd probably say yes to most of them.
They're all on TV.
Yeah. Don't know, Brian, to answer your question. We'll see. Find out if she is pregnant, unless she decides to abort. Then she'll be vacating that bill, won't she? Right. So, Alan, Raw, SmackDown. We'll go chronological order. SmackDown last week. Did you bother? If you did you get anything from it?
No. It depends what the Danhausen thing was on. You know, the one where he came out. I think that was SmackDown. He came out and he said he hasn't got his cannon. He hasn't got his little car he has, which reached, that generated some boos. And obviously Danhausen was like, oh yeah, no, I'm not happy either. And then he made a joke about, I heard there's a vacancy going in number 10. Should I be your new prime minister? And that got like a massive pop.
I think that was Raw.
I think it was
Raw. Could be wrong. Well, what I remember from SmackDown was obviously we had the triple threat match for the world title. We had Gunter versus. It was a singles match. My bad. So we had Sami Zayn as a special guest referee versus Gunter versus Cody for the title. I didn't particularly. It made. Right, I don't know if you've seen the whole match. It's the only thing. It's a SmackDown where I've watched from start to finish was that title match. Okay. I thought it made Gunter look. I like my logic in pro wrestling, right? I know some people like the kind of funky, the Undertaker shooting fireballs, right? That's fine. I like it when it's presented as a sport, right? Generally, this is what I look for. So I like logic in my wrestling. So when Gunter attacked Sami Zayn, even though he chose Sami Zayn to be the special guest referee, so Sami Zayn was his choice to be the referee, and so I think Gunter gets I think Gunter might have powerbombed. He hits some move on Cody. I can't remember which move, and he gets to 2 3/4. Right, Cody kicks out, and then Gunter just loses his rag and then literally just beats up Sami Zayn. I just thought it made Gunter look a little kind of silly, if I'm honest. That's what I took away from that match. I thought that Gunter came across as not smart, and he's meant to be the ring general, right? He's meant to. He came across very silly. He came across silly in that match to me, which I don't like because I like Gunter. I like. He's the closest thing we've got to a proper monster heel really. Him and
Very true.
Brock, and Brock's lost a lot of his luster. So Gunter is the closest we've got to that kind of monster heel nowadays. So I don't like him looking stupid. He's meant to be. He's meant to have have to keep boasting about, he's got a genius level ring IQ, right? And that's his character. He's the best wrestler. So I think it made Gunter look kind of a bit silly. So that was what I took from it. Sami Zayn is good at what Sami Zayn does. I find the Sami Zayn character interesting. So I don't mind that, but I just think that the overall execution, I know what they were going for, but I just thought looking back on it, looking at the logic, I thought Gunter came across as being stupid. So why are you beating up the referee who you chose him to be the ref? Why are you beating him up because Cody kicked out? The 2 3/4. It just seemed that it didn't add up to me. What did you think of the match, Alan? Obviously, Cody retained well, there was a fast count in the end by Sami, a silly fast count, ridiculously fast count.
Yeah. I didn't know what to expect going into this match, really. Part of me thought, okay, maybe this is how they're going to transition the title to Gunther, because I thought there'd be some fuckery going on, and then it might set up a Sami Zayn Cody Rhodes match going forward. So I was actually surprised, like you said, with the logic in this match. It made zero sense. It made zero sense at all, and like you said, it made him look stupid. Okay, we get a triple threat match out of it, but there was a better way of getting to that triple threat match. You could have had Sami taking a bump or something like that, and then another referee could have come out to finish the match or something like that, and then Gunther could have said, "Well, hang on, no, he wasn't the referee I wanted. I had my referee set." But yeah, they just went with a stupid route, absolute stupid route. But what do you expect? It's WWE, isn't it?
I think Gunther has been booked terribly this year.
I mean, I don't know whether this is all stemming from the fact that he was meant to face Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, and then because Rey thought, "Oh no, I'm injured, I can't fight Gunther at WrestleMania," they had to book him to something else, which they did, and then, "Oh no, look, I'm actually okay now." And then Gunther kind of went a bit. He kind of dropped after that. After beating AJ Styles, he kind of dropped.
They didn't know what to do. They didn't know where to go with him after that. It's like
Yeah.
he had momentum, right? Especially after beating Cena, right? Because all the people cried about Cena tapping out like the quitter that he is. Sorry, Ryan. That's what I think. I was fine with it. I think it was the right. I think it was the right thing. I think Cena should have tapped out, and he did tap out, and I'm more than fine with that. I'm happy with Gunther getting the rub. There were other people he could have given the rub to, but I've got no problem with it being Gunther. But you do have to protect that, right? And they haven't protected it. Then they gave him the AJ Styles. AJ Styles, to me, significantly a much bigger deal than John Cena. I know people would disagree with that. And I suppose if you look at it from a kayfabe example, John Cena is the bigger star than AJ Styles. But for me, it's a much more of a travesty. And the wrestling industry, which is much worse off for a talent of AJ Styles no longer wrestling than they are for John Cena.
Yeah, and retired in Saudi as well, of all places.
And AJ as well, right? John Cena. I know Ryan likes Cena. I get it, right? So I'm also allowed my opinion, right? John Cena in ring wrestling has never been good, but he really has been poor the last couple of years. The reason I'm saying this is because AJ, for me, with the exception of when he fell off the top rope, and I think when he fell off the top rope, I forget what match that was, but he fell off the top rope, and I think he got embarrassed. AJ Styles. I reckon. I don't know when. If he ever writes a book, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the time he decided to call it quits. Yeah. Once he fell off. I forgot what match it was, Alan. I think he went for his phenomenal forearm.
Yeah,
and moved his hip.
The thing is, didn't he had like a gimmick about this, didn't he? In another promotion, where he went for the phenomenal forearm and he couldn't hit it because he turned his mistake into a running joke. That every match after that he would blatantly fumble it.
Yeah, if he was doing it on purpose, that's
but obviously the match you're saying, obviously it wasn't meant to happen. But yeah, I know there was a stint where he was going through match after match after match, fumbling the phenomenal forearm, and then the final one is where he actually hits it, and then massive pop from the crowd. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, AJ Styles. I think AJ had another couple of years left in him at the top level, wrestling wise. Obviously, you know, he's a family man. He wanted to go back to his family, and you can't, I don't blame him for that. But I think it's one of the things where you could see that AJ still could go to a decent level. Like if he would have signed another contract and did another 3 years, I think that nobody would have batted an eyelid. That's all I meant. Yeah. So ever since the Gunter retired AJ, he's just. I'm trying to think of anything he's done. I know he fought Rollins at WrestleMania in a mid-card match that was completely forgettable. Nobody remembers that. All we remember about that is Bron Breakker botching the spear. Honestly, that's literally what I remember about the match.
Was it a spear?
It's meant to be a spear that he ran down halfway down the aisle, and then I don't know what he hits. He hits something that Rollins kind of sells.
Okay.
And then Gunter gets traded to SmackDown after he beats Rollins as Paul Heyman does a favor for him and gets him drafted to SmackDown, and then he's been feuding with Cody ever since, and he's lost to Cody twice now, even though they're both fuckery finishes. He still lost them. So all the heat that he had for retiring Cena has just gone. It's just gone. It's evaporated, and it's a shame because you don't want to waste it. Despite me not liking Cena, Cena losing to him could have elevated the person who defeated Gunter could have been elevated because this is the guy who made John Cena tap out, and it's like you transition the heat. It's the same thing they did with the Undertaker. Undertaker finally lost to Brock Lesnar, and who got the reward of the Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker? Bill Goldberg, because Lesnar's first loss after beating the Undertaker after ending the streak, Goldberg's first loss I think was to Goldberg. Actually no. Sorry, he lost back to the Undertaker at SummerSlam. Sorry, I think. So Undertaker just got his heat back. But if you want to talk about who's the new person who beat him after he ended the streak, Goldberg. What are we doing? So Gunter's heat went to who? The heat that Gunter built up by retiring Cena, then retiring AJ. Who benefited from those two retirements? Cody Rhodes, because Cody Rhodes was the guy who beat him next. Did Cody Rhodes needed the rub?
No, not at all.
What are we doing? What are we doing? This is my problem with the WWE, guys. There's no plan. There's no plan. Anyway, before I start on yet another rant, and I've got plenty. Anything else on SmackDown, Alan?
And
I know you can't remember that much, and neither can I, and that's part of the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, true. Solo's been ditched by the MFTs, or so the MFT. There's not really much of them left now, is it? Which is just Talatonga and Tamatonga. That's it. And he's been ditched by them.
I think Ryan said something in the chat about the NFTs. Hold on a sec. Is there going to be a match with the NFTs and the Bloodline? No, because there's been a spoiler come out for SmackDown. Because SmackDown was taped, because they've gone to Saudi, SmackDown's already been taped over here. They taped it in London. So if you look online, if you want to, there are spoilers for the tapings. I haven't seen all the spoilers, but I have seen a video where somebody mentioned something. If you don't want to hear what I've got to say about it, I'm going to give you a count of 5, and then I'm going to quickly talk about it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to say the spoiler. The MFT's disbanded. With the two guys who were left along with Solo Sikoa, more or less said to Solo Sikoa that Solo Sikoa's left on his own because they don't want to get involved in the bloodline. And it looks like, believe this one, Solo Sikoa might be turning face.
Oh, he can do. I think he could be a face because he's actually quite a funny guy, isn't he?
He's got a sense of humor about him, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, it looks like the Solo Sikoa bloodline story is going to take place for Ryan, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a faction thing. It looks like it's going to be Solo Sikoa. Hopefully, he doesn't just go back to the bloodline. I've already complained about how this is just such a repeat. The last thing I need to do is add Solo Sikoa.
That's true, yeah.
But there we are. So I don't know if that answers your question, Ryan. But no, the MFTs are done. As of I think it was taped last night or Wednesday or Tuesday it was taped. So yeah, as of the other day, the MFTs are done. I mean, SmackDown will be on tomorrow night if you want to watch it, but that's the news I've got from the spoilers. If people wanted to know that, if not, I did give you guys a 5-second pause, 5-second warning. Right, Raw, Alan. Same question, really. Anything on Raw for you?
Other than discussed, no, not really. Raw is just its usual thing. It's a hard broadcast to get through, a very hard broadcast to get through.
Did they?
I mean,
as the go home show, did they do anything to get you excited for the PLE? Because that's the job. That's meant to be the job with the go home show.
Yeah, I used to be excited about PLEs. They used to rile me up really good. I thought, yeah, I can't wait for this weekend. It'd be fun. But no, I'm not really that excited for it. Because I know they're going to a shit venue.
Yep.
For the crowd that's not going to care.
Well, we've joked before, Alan, that half of that crowd are just there for the social experience. So make of that what you will, and they're not there because they're wrestling fans. They're there because they've been, dare I say, ordered to go? Is that the right? Should I use those words? Because I'm probably not that far wrong. Ordered to go.
Yeah, but what from I've heard is apparently the sporting commission over there in Saudi, apparently they're running out of money. That's a report I heard.
Yeah.
Apparently they're running out of money. Because apparently when the money they put forward for WrestleMania was astronomical. This is one of the reasons why the E couldn't turn it down, because thinking, wow, that's a shitload amount of money. Yeah, we'll go. Definitely we'll go. But it's kind of affected the coffers of Saudi.
Well, the Saudis has invested a lot of money, not just in wrestling, but they've done a lot of stuff in golf as well, Alan. And they've tried to do
that's right.
Football,
Golf, boxing. Yeah, exactly. In the last couple of years, they've got their own Saudi football league now, haven't they? That's where Ronaldo is.
Yep. Yeah, and they spend ridiculous amounts of money, and there's some very average players who go there. So it's, but hey, can't blame them for taking money, really. Well, yeah, amongst others. Well, if they are out of money, then I'm not sure when they signed a 10-year deal, didn't they, with WWE? So
yeah, it's meant to run out 2030.
Oh well, okay. I was hoping it was going to be sooner than that.
Oh, technically, should be 2028 should be really, because it was at the Greatest Royal Rumbles in 2018.
Well, okay, so there you go. So you got 2. We got maybe 2 years left then of them.
2 more years, and then they can be no more Power Ranger matches for everybody.
Yeah, the women will be happy. Ryan saying, no, I say Roman got more off that when he beat Brock. What do you mean? You mean when Brock beat the Undertaker, that was Roman didn't beat Brock for several years. So by that point, Brock had already lost to Goldberg, amongst others. So what I mean, Ryan, is like I'm talking about, Brock was the conqueror of the streak, so he had that was when he was at his highest, right? That he had so much heat because everyone was heartbroken because he broke the streak and stuff like that. So that heat could only be transferred really once. There could only be one person who really kind of was Brock's conqueror, right? The conqueror conquered the Undertaker, but then who conquered Brock? And if you look at it, other than the Undertaker kind of return match, you can say either the Undertaker got it back, which made the whole thing even more pointless, or the next person who conquered Brock was Goldberg. Goldberg beat him in 2 minutes. Survivor Series?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Squashed him in 2 minutes. So that's what I mean by, so the heat that Brock got for beating the Undertaker was transferred to Goldberg. That's why it was a waste of time. That's what I meant by it. You didn't hear what I said, Ryan, about, okay, don't worry then, mate. Just watch SmackDown tomorrow then. Right. Yes, WrestleMania is in Saudi next year, as we know. Did I enjoy Raw? No. What did I get from Raw? I got the impression that Jey Uso's winning King of the Ring, but we'll talk about that in the preview in a minute. I got that vibe because I was expecting there was a chance Brock was gonna. I wasn't expecting it, but I thought that I thought to myself, if if they want to do the kind of the CM Punk kind of rumor that I've seen also flying about, they needed to do it on Raw. They didn't. So I think that needs to be ruled out now. Punk's not winning King of the Ring.
No.
Right.
Well, Punk's coming back in, I think, the first Raw in July because they're holding it in Chicago.
Yeah, and I'm not sure who's gonna. He'll start his feud. Is it going to be Cody? Maybe. We'll see. If it's a Raw, then I mean, I suppose you could challenge Cody and Raw. They don't care about the brand split anymore, do they? So
true, but officially he's going to SmackDown.
Yeah, so that means because Brock didn't come out and take Oba out of the tournament, it looks like that if Brock is going to get involved, it is actually going to be at the Night of Champions, which we'll talk about soon. So yeah, that suggests to me that congratulations everyone, we're getting King Yeet. We'll get into it soon.
Draining out of me already.
Yeah, so overall for Raw, LA Knight won a match. I actually can't remember the last time he won a match.
But there's fuckery involved.
Well, of course it's fuckery. We've got to protect the blood. Alan.
Yeah, of course I know that.
Bloodline can't lose fairly. Come on.
Can't lose. No, they can't lose clean. Especially Jimmy Uso. You know, he's basically the bitch of the group.
Well, Jimmy Uso's number 4 out of the bloodline. Let's be honest. We know that it's true. Even he's got to be protected. You can't have LA Knight winning a match cleanly against the bloodline. When's that that's never going to happen. So, yeah, there's fuckery with Solo Sikoa, and apparently that plays into this stuff that I was telling you about. I won't say the spoiler again because Ryan didn't want to know, which is fair enough. So I think that plays into it as well. Other than that, it's so boring a show. I'm sorry, guys. I can't help it. You can miss these shows, right? And you won't miss anything.
It's very true.
on a weekly basis, you can miss these shows, and you do not miss virtually anything. And the occasional segment that has any kind of value, you can watch on YouTube, and it'll be 5 minutes, and you'll get all you need to know. So I'm sorry, there's not much of a Raw review, but I mean, Alan's got nothing to really say about it, and I neither do I.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Danhausen cursed JD McDonough. Was funny. That's about it. That's all I got. So when the best thing on a weekly show is Danhausen cursing somebody in some stupid comedy segment, what does that say about the rest of your show?
I just think it's an indictment of the post WrestleMania lull. Not lull as an LOL, lull as an LULL, a lull. They always seem to have. We haven't even got Money in the Bank to spice stuff up because they've moved that to I think it's October.
September,
October. Yeah. So they've moved that. They've made that much later in the year. They used to get Money in the Bank in like June or July, which you kind of try to heat up stuff a little bit. But they've moved.
I think they should put that match back on WrestleMania. Really.
It doesn't need to be its own pay-per-view. Yeah.
No, it's like War Games. That doesn't need to be its own pay-per-view. Just put that in a. Stick that somewhere else.
Ryan says, I love Oba and I love the bloodline. Well, you're not going to like what I got to say then, Ryan. I listened to the Oba Femi promo and I thought to myself, if this is the future, I'm out. I'm sorry. It's not for me. I don't know who it's for, but I do know that it's not for me. I can, and I have to accept that he is popular amongst the fan base. And if that means that I am not like the fan base, I already know I'm not because I already criticized the fan base last week. And I blame them a lot for what's happening with the bloodline. I hold them responsible for a lot of it by how the fans react to the bloodline as being the horrible heel faction that they are. The fans cheer them. That's on the fans. Right. So I'm not going to take that back. People are allowed to like them. I'm not saying they can't. It doesn't make sense to me. But, I have to accept that they're popular. I don't get it. So I look at Oba Femi. I've got nothing against the kid. I just think it's way too much, way too soon.
He's a bit green.
I've seen other guys like this. I've seen many other guys. I think of Ryback. I think of Goldberg in WCW. Okay, I think of other guys, people who have been shoved down my throat. And whenever somebody shoved down my throat, I will normally gag on it and reject it because I don't like being told who to cheer for. I decide who I cheer for. I don't react well to being told what to do. So they're pushing Obafemi down my throat. I'll hear his promo. I struggle to understand him very well. I think he's got too heavy an accent. I'm telling you the truth, right? I struggle. I'm not saying I can't understand him, but I struggle to understand him. When he says stuff to me, I can't take it seriously. So that's suspension of disbelief because he's meant to be the ruler. And he does this strut. I think he looks ridiculous. I'm sorry. I think he looks ridiculous. So he comes out, he's got the silly accent. You can't help it. If that's his accent, you can't help his accent. I'm just saying, right? For me, he's got a silly accent. He's got a silly strut. I can't take him seriously. I'm just being honest. So he's not for me, right? And if this is going to be the future, and it looks like that looks like that's the direction they're probably going in, then you can count me out. If this is the next person who's going to be shoved down my throat, I had to put up with Cena for 15, 20 years, shoved down my throat. I then had to put up with Roman Reigns, babyface Roman Reigns in particular. But the heel version is not that much better. But babyface Roman Reigns in particular is poison to me. I can't stand it. I had to put up with that for 10 years in his old version. And now I have to put up with this version of him, who's a heel. But now I'm being told he's a babyface, but he's not. He's a heel. Everything about him is a heel.
He's a heel. Yeah, agreed.
So it's if that is the future of the WWE, and I'm not going to say the future of wrestling because wrestling is more than a WWE, always has been. But if that is the future of the WWE, I'm not going to be very interested in their main events for a long time then. And I will have to hope that there's something in the mid card for me that I can enjoy. Because if Obafemi is going to be in the main events going forward from now on, then I'm not going to have a good time watching those matches. Because if I can't take somebody seriously, I can't invest in them. Obafemi is already on my shit list a little bit for the match against Brock. I don't blame the kid because it wasn't his decision to kick out of 7 F5s or how many it was, 6 F5s.
6, yeah, 6.
Yeah. It wasn't Obafemi's fault. It's not the kid's fault. So I'm not blaming him personally, right? It's the booking. It's Triple H and whoever agreed to that match, whoever produced that match, right? Stuff like this works against me because, as I've tried to say, and the thing is, once upon a time, the wrestling fans would not accept this. The wrestling fans used to boo John Cena for the same reasons. They rejected Roman Reigns for the same reasons. Do you want to know what happened to all the fans who booed John Cena and booed Roman Reigns? Do you want to know what happened to them? They stopped watching because they got fed up of the people who Vince McMahon was pushing and shoving down their throats. Because like me, they had to sit through Cena, and Cena drove a lot of mail. I'm not talking about the kids. See, Ryan, I know you're defending him. I get it, and I understand a little bit, mate, because you're younger. So you grew up with Cena as your hero. So I can understand it. But you need to understand also, from mine and Alan's perspective, we were wrestling fans way before John Cena. And we lived through the Attitude Era, which was not perfect, but we lived through much better stuff, in my opinion. And then we had to watch John Cena rise. And as John Cena rose to stardom, the product got worse and worse. Because John Cena was the next chosen one, really, after Stone Cold and The Rock left. John Cena was the next chosen one. Him and Batista, more or less, were the two next chosen ones.
Yeah, that's right.
So, and then we had to sit and watch. And I didn't hate John Cena when he first appeared. Okay? I didn't hate John Cena until Vince McMahon got his hands on him and started to mold John Cena into the next American hero. I already saw Vince McMahon try to do this with Lex Luger. So Vince McMahon got hold of John Cena, and everything that made John Cena even remotely likable, Vince took from him and turned him into a patriotic fake Marine who saluted people, even though he wasn't a Marine. Cena never used to do that. He didn't used to do that. He only started doing that after Vince McMahon got his claws into him and tried to manufacture. As soon as Vince McMahon started to try to manufacture these big baby faces, they become lame and corny.
It's true. Their movesets just dissolve almost. Cena had a good. He had a good moveset when he was and he was like Dr. Thugonomics. Cena. He had some good moves, but as soon as he became, Vince's, golden child, that was it. He just had the 3 moves of doom.
Vince McMahon strips wrestlers of their identities. Vince McMahon strips wrestlers of their identities that made them cool, and then manufactures them into the Hulk Hogan template. And the reason Vince does that is because Hulk Hogan made him shitloads of money. So Vince McMahon's just thinking, I just want another Hogan. Vince McMahon's always been after just another Hogan. And with the exception of Austin and to a slightly lesser degree, The Rock, because The Rock was more like Hogan than Austin was. I'm not saying he was like Hogan, but he was more like Hogan. Steve Austin was the exception to the rule because Steve Austin was the guy in the black boots. He wasn't colourful. Black boots, leg braces, bald head, completely different idea of superhero kind of baby face that Vince McMahon was used to. So Austin broke the mold. The Rock also was different enough, not in the same league as Austin when it comes to being completely different. But the Rock was more manufactured than Steve Austin was, is my point. And then as soon as Austin and The Rock left, Vince McMahon was looking for his next Hulk Hogan, and he chose John Cena. And then once Cena started running out of gas, they run Cena ragged for 10, 15 years until Vince got his next pet project, which was Roman Reigns. And then we had to sit and have Roman Reigns shoved down our throats for 10 years. Suffering succotash, son.
You never lived that one down.
Yeah. Go look at that Roman Reigns promo. For anyone who thinks Roman Reigns is cool, go look at that promo. You tell me if that's cool. But, Ryan, look, it's not me. I'm not here just to hammer the guys you like. I'm just trying to sell it from my perspective. I didn't grow up on Cena. I didn't grow up on Roman. I grew up with guys like Steve Austin and The Rock. I grew up with guys like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. And you're not telling me that Roman Reigns or John Cena lace any of those guys' boots, because it's not even close.
Not on a good day ever.
So I'm not calling you out, Ryan, mate. Not at all. It's just that I'm only going to speak for myself. Alan, I know Alan agrees. I was brought up with the guys I was brought up with, and in my opinion, it's not close. That doesn't mean I hate. That doesn't mean I hate everything today. And I can also understand that stuff does evolve, and I'm okay with evolution. But evolution means that generally a lot of it has to be better. And I don't think you can really say that everything is particularly better right now. The best thing that's happened to the wrestling business is that they tend to look after their wrestlers better. So you haven't got guys dropping like flies and getting addicted to drugs and dying early, like Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that, and the Benoit with all the concussions apparently. That stuff is more or less gone, and that's a good thing. But the actual art of pro wrestling is a much worse than it used to be. And if you need evidence of that, just look at the ratings and the numbers. So it's not just a me thing. There's a certain type of fan that the WWE is mostly driven off. And if they are still around, like myself, maybe like Alan, we watch much less than we used to. Watch the occasional segment. I'll speak for myself. I watch the occasional segment. But it's difficult. It's difficult for me to see people reveling in some of the guys I've got today when I just know that they can't lace the boots of some of the guys I've seen. And if that means that my standards are too high, then I'm willing to accept that criticism. I would say you guys need to have better standards. You set your standards too low. If you think Obafemi is the next coming, you've set your standards too low. You're allowed to, but in my opinion, you've set your standards too low. If Roman Reigns and John Cena, if John Cena is the GOAT, right, then the whole world's gone mad. To me.
Yeah, he's not even close. The great, I find when they call him the greatest of all time, I find that insulting.
It is.
He's not the greatest of all time. He didn't hold the most championships like they say he did. His in-ring work was awful. And that includes those stupid expressions he put in the Royal Rumble a couple of years ago. Remember those?
I remember nearly all his stupid expressions. He can't take anything seriously. He ruins everything serious is in.
He pulled so many stupid faces, and I thought to myself, take this fucking seriously. This is a Royal Rumble. You know, the winner goes to the WrestleMania main event, for crying out loud. Take it seriously, or get the fuck out. I was happy he lost that match. Okay, I wasn't happy with the winner, but still, I'm glad he didn't win.
Ryan says, Tequila, can you admit he is good at wrestling? Who? Cena? No.
And he's not good at wrestling. Sorry. Even I would disagree with that. He's not good at wrestling at all.
Roman Reigns is a good athlete. I don't think he's a particularly good wrestler. I think Reigns is a decent athlete. He's
a better wrestler than Cena.
Yes, he's a better wrestler. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Ryan, Roman Reigns is a better wrestler than John Cena. If you put me down and force me, and it'd be like torture for me to watch either one of them, really. But if I had to make a choice, I would watch Roman Reigns over John Cena by quite a long way, actually. Because I think John Cena is one of the worst. I don't think Roman Reigns is. I don't think Roman Reigns is one of the worst wrestlers. I just think he's bang average and nothing special. John Cena is one of the worst wrestlers I've seen.
Oh, he's asking: do we think Oba's a good wrestler?
What's Obafemi done to prove to me he's a good wrestler?
Yeah, he just does that. Was that fall from grace? Okay. Is that his powerbomb? The fall from grace?
Yeah, it's okay.
Or is it the other one that that where he picks him up like in a back suplex and then just throws him forward?
No, it's his powerbomb. His finish is a powerbomb.
Okay. So that's all I've seen him do. To be honest, I've actually not seen him do anything else. So based on two moves, he hits the powerbomb very good. The other back suplex throw thing, yeah, he hits that quite well. Other than that, he's not really shown me anything. I like to see him do a collar and elbow tie up. I like to see him do some mat work, but I'm not expecting him to start doing moonsaults or anything. But I find moonsaults boring. Too many people do too many high flying moves in the WWE now. WWE is evolving into AEW. It's all flippy shit now.
See, when I think of good wrestlers, Ryan, it's not just about the execution of moves. It's not. It's not just about the execution of moves because, as Alan just said, if all it was just who does the most flashy moves, then you probably got somebody like a Will Ospreay or a Kenny Omega or one of those guys, probably in AEW. Because AEW probably, if that's what you're looking for, there's more of that in AEW. If that's all you want, there's probably more of those guys in AEW. Someone like an Ospreay. I think Ospreay's not a particularly great wrestler. He's an extremely good athlete. And he's a great gymnast.
Yeah, gymnastics and I can't get the words out. Athleticism, yes. Will Ospreay is great. In ring, he has to be carried. Generally, because there's stuff like transitions. There's stuff like ring psychology. There's stuff like even being able to brawl properly, making your stuff look realistic, throwing a good punch. About to say that, yeah.
go and watch Fraser. I'll give you a couple of guys. Jerry Lawler, Scott Hall, great. Scott Hall had fantastic punches. Do you know who? Bret Hart had great punches as well.
He did actually, yeah. Bret Hart did. I saw a match recently. A great match. SummerSlam 91. Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect for the IC title.
Yeah.
Brilliant match. Go and watch that match. Great match. Both men, fantastic.
So it's not. So when you say to like Obafemi's a good wrestler, I don't think it's fair to even make an actual assessment on him. I think he's true. I think it's actually way too green. But when I say you shouldn't make an assessment, I shouldn't be saying he's a dirt shit wrestler. But I also don't think people should be saying to me he's a great wrestler. I would say he's been in the business 2 years. right?
He's been fast tracked.
He's 28 years old. He's only been taught one way, which is the WWE way. And I'm not saying that people who only work for the WWE can't end up being very good. Randy Orton's a great example of somebody who only ever worked for the WWE. Randy Orton has never worked for any other wrestling company. And Randy Orton has ended up a very, very, very good all-around wrestler. See, Randy Orton's a very, very good all-rounder because his stuff does look good. He's a decent athlete without having to do 100 flips, but he's a decent enough athlete. He's a good storyteller. And Randy Orton's only worked from the WWE. It probably helps that his dad also was a very good technical wrestler in Cowboy Bob Orton. So he had a little bit of an advantage there, but still, it means that I'm not saying Obafemi can't ever become it. But if you're telling me right now that Obafemi's a good wrestler, no. What has he done to show that? Tell me these classic tell me the classic matches that Obafemi's had.
Must be stuff in NXT because I don't know. I mean, he's doing quite well considering he come from NXT because generally when you leave NXT and you go to the main roster, you normally get shit on. You know, the likes of like Bobby Roode, Samoa Joe. Absolutely shit on when they came to the main roster. They weren't given any world title reigns or anything. Finn Balor's done well. He's probably the only one who has come from NXT who's actually done well. No, sorry, Drew McIntyre. He came from he went back to NXT, didn't he?
I think the and this guy does count, but only barely. Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was the first NXT champion. So that's why I'm including.
Oh, of course he was. Yeah. There we go.
But he wasn't in NXT for long because he was called up very, very quickly after NXT became a proper brand. He was called up to the Shield not long after. So he was only there for a cup of coffee. But no, Alan's right. There's a lot of guys who come from NXT who it's weird because Triple H obviously used them really well, and Triple H has brought a lot of them up and done F all with them. Johnny Gargano is a great example currently right now. Johnny Gargano could be the worst example because Johnny Gargano's an absolute joke, and he was amazing in NXT as the baby face. Him and Ciampa. I still think that's NXT's best feud, Alan.
I think so. The thing is, the best matches I can think of in NXT all feature Gargano Ciampa or as a tag team DIY. I mean, their match against the Revival.
Yeah.
Great match, fantastic match, great psychology. You know, good old-fashioned heel versus face match. Holding the ropes. You know,
old school tag team match from a bygone era, which people reacted amazingly to, and you can tell that these guys were fans of the Midnight Express. I already know that FTR 100% are based upon the Midnight Express. Cornette spoke about them a lot. Rock and Roll Express inspirations. The Revival and probably Ciampa and Gargano probably all fans of late NWA tag team wrestling when tag team wrestling was at the forte, not like it is now. That's a whole show by itself, talking about the tag team division now.
Oh, yeah, very true.
Talk about that for hours. But let's try and move on. Big up for Ryan for giving us some good talking points. But it is nearly actually 7:00, and we haven't even.
Before we move on, I was going to answer a question Ryan gave me a little while ago.
Yep.
But he's basically asking when I'm going to do my next 2K stream. Maybe Sunday, Ryan. Maybe Sunday. I'm going later. I'm playing Star Fox, so like a bit of retro stuff. It's not really retro. It's actually built from the ground up. So, like a bit of Star Fox, come and join me about 8:00.
So that's on our sister channel, the Play Pouch, which is gaming content. In case none of you, a lot of people are subscribed there. If you're not subscribed there, go subscribe. You get a lot of wrestling, mainly from Alan. There is wrestling games on there, but a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, the Play Pouch, nice little cheap plug. Right. So I've got the card in front of me for Night of Champions. Okay, so apparently, because of their ESPN deal they've got, the first two matches are going to be the two finals.
Wow.
And they're going to be airing on ESPN for free, making the pay-per-views even less valuable. Right. So we'll start off. The match list is here. I don't know if this is probably not going to be end up being the card match list because this has got Jade Cargill versus Timmy Stratton. That's not close in the show.
No, definitely not.
But let's go over what I think the first two matches are going to be, and then we can just go from there. Right. So let's start with Obafemi versus Jey Uso, men's finals of the King of the Ring. If the title shot wasn't on the line for SummerSlam, I think Oba might stand a chance, but it's not. I think Oba's fighting Brock, so unless Obafemi, and I think they would be mad to do this, but I wouldn't say it's an impossible thing, knowing that they want to shove Obafemi down their throat. And if they do stuff like this, then my rejection of him is going to be even faster than it would be before. If they contemplate having him main event both nights. I've heard stories, and they are just stories, like a lot of rumors. An option would be to have Obafemi win the King of the Ring, despite Brock's interference, and Obafemi does double duty. Night 1 against Brock, night 2 challenges Roman. I've heard the rumor, but it's only a rumor. I don't think they're going to do it, and if they do it, then Obafemi definitely this will backfire. It might not backfire right away, but once fans start feeling that somebody is being shoved down their throats, they will eventually reject them. They did with Cena. They did with Reigns. As I said before, a lot of these fans have moved on, or they watch much less regularly, like myself. But people, we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they can shove Obafemi down people's throats, and maybe people will be just fine. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am, but maybe I'm wrong. Alan, it's going to be Jey Uso. I don't think they are going to do the Obafemi 2-night thing. I think that they must realize, at least I'd like to think that Triple H must realize that they can't shove him down. You can't have him main event both nights.
I agree. You can't have him both nights. That is too much. But what's the alternative? Why is Jey Uso even there? Why is he there?
Because I think it's going to be Jay versus probably Cody. Because I just can't. There is a small chance. We'll talk about the title match later on. There is a small chance if they had the balls to put the belt on Sami Zayn, and I don't think they're going to. But if they were, you could technically say that Jey Uso versus Sami Zayn does have history to it because of once again, it's bloodline shit. It's more bloodline shit. But you remember Sami Zayn was in the bloodline with Jey Uso, and they had a whole big story when Sami turned on Roman Reigns and Jey Uso didn't know what to do. And there is story there. Is it what I want? No. But there is story there that they could tell if they wanted to. So I don't think they're going to do Jey versus Gunter, because I don't think anyone wants to see that again. We had that twice last year, and it wasn't great the first time. Huh?
Yeah, it wasn't great either time.
No.
Okay, it was great the second time because Jey Uso tapped out, but it was fine.
Nobody, I think, wants that. So I think Jey Uso wins. I do think it's predictable now, but I think it will go down this way. Oba's going to dominate. It's going to be a short match. Oba's going to dominate, have him beat Brock Lesnar, makes the trip to Saudi. Probably it's in Brock's contract probably that they signed with the Prince. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Got to have a Brock Lesnar appearance. They haven't got a match for him, so the next best thing, they'll have him on the show. Come out, F5. Only one F5, apparently. God knows how many F5s it will take, but he'll come out, cause Obafemi to lose the match. It's the easy, obvious thing to do. You get your Obafemi Brock Lesnar match free, which they're going to want to do. It's in Brock's hometown of Minnesota, so Brock's probably going to want to wrestle on the card. That could be your night one main event. It probably should be, because otherwise it's going to be Jey Uso versus Cody or Sami, I think, and I don't think that's main event in
Correct.
night
I
one.
can't wait for another 5-minute Brock versus Oba match.
Yeah, I'm not interested either. I don't care.
Neither guys can go above 5 minutes.
So it's another reason why I'm not going to accept that Obafemi is this great wrestler, because
you can't go the distance. Do a 30-minute Ironman match and come back to me.
Hot shot wrestling. You know, I generally like Brock, but one thing I don't like about Brock is that he's now made this new kind of finisher spam match a new thing now that they want to do, and it looks like they want Obafemi to be following in the footsteps of this 5-minute matches where it's just a bunch of finishes and there's no psychology. It's just finishes and kickouts. And if that, again, I'm not blaming Obafemi. He's too young. He's doing what he's told, as anyone would when he's been given the golden ticket, which is what he has. Right? He's not going to question it. Why would he? But if I'm Obafemi, I've got. Is that what you want to become? 5-minute wonder? I don't think so. Anyway, so I'm going with Jey Uso, Brock Lesnar interference. Is it obvious? It is a bit obvious, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. You get your Brock Lesnar Obafemi match that everyone wants. You get Jey Uso versus probably Cody, unless they do the Punk. If they do the Punk Cody, then maybe Cody drops the belt. But if Cody drops the belt, is there a story for him and Punk? Not really, because they don't hate each other. If Punk and Cody have a match, it's going to be for the belt, because that's the story they teased. Not because they hate each other, because they don't hate each other. They never teased that. So if Jey Uso is getting a title shot, I think it's going to have to be against Sami Zayn. So anyway, we'll talk about that. Jey Uso is winning, Alan. Sorry. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Jey Uso's winning this one. Because I say, but Brock's meant to have his last matches in it. That's what it's always been cited as. His last match was meant to take place at SummerSlam this year. Minnesota's hometown. He wants to get, he wants to be 2-1 over Oba. So yeah, that's Oba can't do 2 nights. Overkill.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Overkill, sorry. There we go.
Overkill. Remember that one, Alan. Once we start disliking Obafemi more, the more he shoved down my throat, the more I will start to dislike it. So keep that one on ice. We'll probably be needing that in the future.
Sure.
Okay, so the second match apparently is going to be on free TV, ESPN. Won't affect us over here on Netflix, but
No.
Is Alan's favorite wrestler. I know we can't wait for this. Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, who may or may not be pregnant. If she is pregnant, she ain't going to be wrestling this match. That's what I suggest. So we'll find out pretty soon if she is pregnant, because then they're going to have to pull her from this match, most likely. But assuming it goes ahead, I don't understand why Liv Morgan's in this unless she was going to lose to either Roxanne Perez, who didn't even make it past the first round, or Rodriguez, who went out in the semis. Why is she here? Why is she in the tournament? Don't know. So Io Sky is winning, or what's the point? Despite Alan not liking it, what is the point of Liv Morgan winning?
There's none. And she's not pregnant, by the way.
I didn't think she was, but
yeah, apparently she owns a few cows, and one of her cows is pregnant. That's what she's referring to.
Oh, okay. She owns cows. Each to their own.
Yeah, she owns cows. She's got a bit of a farm going on.
Oh, fair enough. Right. So,
although in saying that, it can still be used as a MacGuffin to get her out of the match and replace her with someone else.
Oh, at the last minute.
Yeah.
I think they're just gonna use this for Io Sky wins. Liv Morgan's upset. Oh, you beat me. Oh, now I have to defend the title against you at SummerSlam. And Liv Morgan most likely will retain, because Liv Morgan needs something to do, because Rhea Ripley might still be injured. So they have to have some kind of a women's title match, I suppose, on the show. So
I love it. When you get injured, you don't have to relinquish your title. It's great, isn't it?
Not anymore. You don't know, because there's no 30-day Raw anymore. Thanks, Brock. Brock's fault. You got rid of that. Right. So both me and Alan have said Io Sky. I think that's pretty obvious. I think most likely that's pretty obvious.
I can't wait for the music to hit, and I can just bore myself to sleep.
I'm picturing her doing the shaking her head, putting out her head.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah, that's what she does to me.
Okay. Alan's new favorite wrestler, Lemon Pepper Steppers.
The old Lemon Pepper Steppers, old Trick Willie.
Trick Williams, another heel who's acting as a babyface, because this is what we do in 2026. Defends against Ricky Saints, the former Ricky Starks, who I have quite liked for a while. I'm not saying he's the next coming of Steve Austin of The Rock or anything silly like that. He's probably never going to be that. This probably is his level, the kind of US title, the IC title. That probably is the highest he will probably go in a WWE. You never know. You can never say never because you can never tell. Somebody might catch fire. But I don't see him going that much higher. So this is his biggest match probably in WWE to date. He finally makes a pay-per-view. I think this is his pay-per-view debut. I think so. At least on the main roster. Don't think he's got a chance in hell of winning the belt because they're so high on Trick Williams. So
exactly, and Ricky Saints is just their new jobber. Another one. There you go. Another NXT call-up who's just being thrown to the dogs.
Well, the writing was on the wall for everyone when he lost his debut match. I mean, that should be a warning sign for.
He's just been chopped out ever since.
Yeah, he ain't gonna get any higher than where he's at. Like I say, he might win one of the secondary titles, but he ain't gonna get any higher. But I don't think he's got. No, they ain't taking the belt off Trick Williams. They're not yet. Anyway,
not so soon. No.
I'm going with Trick Williams, another heel act, who's apparently is a babyface, who's not a babyface. Another one. Don't care. Don't care about him. Don't care about his stupid little rapper friend. Could give two shits. Much
little shatty.
He sucks, Alan.
He took a liver hit to the back of the head and got up like 10 seconds later.
Yep. Don't get me started on the whole gingerbread man stuff. You think I've forgotten about that crap? No, I haven't forgotten about that crap. Right. So I'm going with Trick Williams. You, Alan?
Yeah, it's gonna be Trick Williams. I'm sorry, Ricky Saints is a jobber.
Okay, so me and Alan actually agree 3 for 3. Next match, probably the feud-ending match for Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. Steel cage match. Babyfaces normally win steel cage matches. Not always, but you look generally the nature of the steel cage matches. They normally are babyface victory. Not always, but more often than not.
Yeah, more often than not.
I think Bron Breakker's been damaged this year. The injury was not his fault, but I think if people would have said to me 6 months ago that he's still not won any title, he's not main eventing stuff, and they were so high on him at the end of last year, they were so high on him, and he's just kind of fallen off the cliff. I'm not saying they've jobbed him out because he's not lost much, but he's certainly been slowed, and that's probably to do with Obafemi more or less taking his spot a little bit, because I think that's what's happened. Trick Williams also, his ascension might have also damaged Bron Breakker's trajectory a little bit, but Obafemi in particular has almost stolen his thunder. I prefer, if you're asking me, out of Obafemi and Bron Breakker, I think Bron Breakker is significantly the better of the two. I'm not saying Bron Breakker is amazing. I'm not saying he's amazing, but I think he's a better athlete. He's a better promo. I can take him more seriously. He's got a bit of pedigree about him because he's one of the Steiner kids. So they've tapped into it a little bit, but if they wanted to go further and tap into that further, they could. I would change the name. They're probably not going to want to, but I would change the name. I'd call him a Steiner, but that would be me. I think he's a much better bet to be the next big face. Not even doesn't have to be a baby face, but the next big star. I would put him way ahead of Obafemi, in my opinion. But they've called the Jets on him, Alan. So I think he loses. I think Rollins beats him. I think
I think so. I think the vision have lost they've lost the momentum completely with Logan Paul being injured, losing the tag titles on Raw this week.
Yep.
I think both parties need to move on to other things. Really, I don't know what that means, because obviously Seth's got involved with the Street Profits for some reason.
I think it's just kind of like, I think he's just kind of getting involved with them to kind of to end this feud. The sooner Rollins and the Vision stuff is just made a footnote in history, the better, because it's done nothing for anyone. It's been cursed. Danhausen's done one of his curses because it has been a cursed angle, and that is nobody's fault. Injuries, shit happens, right? So I won't blame them for that. Obviously, the original plan was most likely a Bron Breakker face turn, I think, with the original plan on Seth Rollins much later down the line. The vision was going to last a year or two before they started breaking it up, but they hot shotted it because Rollins got injured. So this was far from the original plan. This match would have happened at some point. I think Breakker might have been the babyface because Rollins was being positioned as the top heel at the time, if you remember, when he got injured. He was a world champion. He was a world champion. So he was obviously going to hold that belt probably before dropping it to Roman. And I easily could have seen him and Braun maybe feuding just after WrestleMania. So maybe time-wise, maybe it wouldn't have been that different. But I think the roles would have been reversed. I think Breakker was going to be... Do you remember the... I don't know if Ryan will remember this because I don't know if he was watching. It might be too old for him. You remember the Batista Triple H feud in Evolution?
Yes. Yeah.
I think they were going to do something like that, where Batista started getting fed up, didn't he, of Triple H in Evolution. Triple H was the world champion.
That's right.
He was using Batista as like his right hand, is like his bruiser, wasn't he? And
this is obviously after they ditched Randy Orton after Randy Orton won his world title. Yeah.
So they tried it with Orton, but it didn't work because the fans, Orton wasn't very likable. And then they more or less did the same storyline again, but this time with Dave, who was more likable. And they had Dave kind of be like Triple H's kind of bruiser, right? He's like muscle, and then slowly Batista got fed up with Triple H. So I think they were going to do something similar to that. I think it was going to go down a similar way, whereas Bron Breakker would slowly start getting fed up of taking all the bullets for Seth Rollins. That's what I think they originally were going to do. But of course, because of everything that happened, it's gone down completely the other way, and Rollins is the babyface. So I still think Rollins versus Reigns could be the SummerSlam main event. I feel less confident of that with how the King of the Ring has played out. I'm less confident now about that. But they did interact, Alan, didn't they, a couple of weeks ago on Raw, Rollins and Reigns.
That's true, they did.
There was a little.
That's right. Yeah, look, Roman walking towards the ring, and well, it was in gorilla position, wasn't it? Yeah, that's right.
And you got to remember, Rollins and Reigns are always going to have a storyline because they're always going to be linked because of their Shield days. So the stories are always bubbling. And also, Rollins never lost his world title. He actually had to vacate it. So there's an easy story there. Rollins can easily come out and saying, "You didn't beat me. I had to vacate the belt over injury. I never lost."
Yeah, very true. I think it's where do they have this match?
SummerSlam.
You think it's SummerSlam? I think they'll hold on to it till like Money in the Bank or something.
They could do. I just don't know what they're going to do with Rollins. What does Rollins do at SummerSlam?
Fight Austin Theory.
Wow. Opening contest. I'm sure he'll be happy.
Thrown off. Rollins has just been thrown off a cliff since he came back.
Yeah. I'm going with Rollins. I think Breakker. I think they need to hit the reset button with Breakker. They need to get him. This Visions thing just needs to go. Full stop. If they want to continue to have Heyman be with Breakker, you know what? I'd be fine if Breakker, Bronson Reed, I like Bronson Reed. I think Heyman, Breakker, and Reed. That's all you need. I don't think Logan Paul. I like Logan Paul, but I don't think he should be in the Vision. Austin Theory is just there to take the pinfalls, right? I mean, that's what he's there for.
Well, he's been protected recently. Okay, granted, this week he got pinned, but other than that, he generally gets protected.
Well, the Vision hasn't done anyone any favors, but I don't mind them continuing Breakker Reed association with Heyman. I got no problem with that. I think that worked quite well, those three. But the actual Vision as a whole, call them something different. Have them do something else and just hit the reset button because Breakker's fallen off this year. Not his fault, really, but he's fallen off this year. Obafemi's taken his spot, which is a shame, but there we are. Okay, so according to this card, they've put Jade versus Tiffany as the last match. We won't be doing that, so we'll talk about that now. The worst match on the card, yeah.
This is bathroom break material.
US title match. Didn't these two feud over the world title last year? Isn't that how Jade won the world title from Tiffany Bloody Stratton? Why have I got to watch this again?
That's a good question. One I've got no answer for because I'm not a fan of either one of them. I think they're both as green as goose shit, to be honest. Again, Tiffany Stratton, great athlete. Jade Cargill is another. She's a great athlete. None of them are particularly good at wrestling.
I don't see the appeal of Equal Woman. I can see Jade Cargill having a little bit of appeal as a monster heel, but unfortunately, I don't think she's not got the chops for it. So like she's got the look to be a monster. She's got the look to be a monster heel, right? Because she's so much bigger than everyone else, right? Other than Charlotte, who also has got the same look. They've got a similar look. They should both be heels because their size, right? I don't think Jade Cargill's got the wrestling chops though, and she's still relatively inexperienced. I think the problem I've got with Jade Allen is that I don't see any improvement.
No, really, not really. She's still green. She's still massively green. Yet someone somewhere sees something in her. They keep putting her in these sort of spots where she's accelerated to a title of some kind.
The thing is, it's weird. She only just dropped the world title. Why is she getting a US? She only just dropped the world title. Yeah,
no, that's not a complete fall from grace. I'm sure it's happened to someone. I'm trying to remember who it was now. They were a world champion, and then all of a sudden they were competing for the US or IC title, like not long afterwards. Escapes me who it was, but yeah. And I, even then, I thought, well, that's a drop. That's a massive drop for you.
It is weird that Jade Cargill just she's a world champion. She loses it to Rhea Ripley. She then loses the rematch, and now she qualifies for a US title match.
Apparently so.
But she just
I don't know how that works.
This
is where I'll give. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go on. I was
going to say this is where I'll give AEW credit. At least they have stats. You know how many losses they've taken. You know, there's someone behind the scenes building a ranking system. So no one just walks out and goes, "Oh, I want a title match." Where in WWE, that's exactly what happens. No one cares about, oh, I just lost. Oh, it doesn't matter. You'll get a title shot next week. Who cares? It's not how I would book things.
Again, it's just a lack of like long-term booking. There's no real plan. It's just like, I mean, Ryan likes Tiffany Stratton. Now, I mean, talking about their looks, it's very subjective, right? Physical attraction. For me, she does nothing. She looks like every other generic blonde that I've ever seen. She does not stand out to me at all in that way. So for me, she doesn't even have that. But that's a very subjective thing. So it's like, if that's what if we are judging them on that, and I'm not saying that you can't, because it's a television product, just like when you watch films, just like when you watch TV shows, right? There's a reason why most actors in Hollywood are beautiful people. Not all, but a lot. Most of them are. Especially the biggest names, right? They're all very beautiful people. There's a reason for that, because it brings people to watch them. So, though we shouldn't judge them just on it, it's not against the rules, in my opinion, to say you like somebody because they're physically attractive. That's fine. It's a TV product. It's on television. But for me, she doesn't even have that going for her, in my opinion. Alan, I don't know if your missus is listening, but you want to weigh in on this, or do you want to just not comment?
What, stiffy time?
Does she make you stiffy time? She doesn't make.
No. As I said, this is a bathroom break match. I have little to no interest, and I will probably be flushing a chain by the time the second bell rings.
Oh, and just for the record, Ryan, neither does Jade. Doesn't give me a stiffy time either. Neither one does. Just for the record. So I'm not even going to judge them on that, because neither one of them does anything for me in those things. So I'm not going to judge the match based on their attractiveness. You want to put Alexa Bliss or Liv Morgan in there? I'll change my tune now. I'll have something to tell you, and I will kind of put more bases on it. Or Roxanne Perez. I like what I like, but these two, I would not watch that match for those reasons, Ryan. There's other women I would watch the match for those reasons. So I'm going to judge that match on what they do in the ring. As Alan's rightly said, Tiffany Stratton's not a bad athlete. She's not a bad athlete. And Jade Cargill, I don't know if Jade's a great athlete. I don't know if I agree with Alan on that one. She's got an impressive physique. More than being a great athlete. She's like a weight room athlete, I think is the terminology. So she's got that's what I meant. She's athletically very fit, which of course she is. Of course she is.
Sorry, I'll rephrase. Jade Cargill was a good athlete. Tiffany Stratton is a good gymnast.
I don't think either one is a particularly good wrestler. I think Tiffany's a lot better than Jade, but that doesn't mean I think Tiffany's particularly good. I think Tiffany Stratton is incredibly average in everything she does. I think looks-wise, she's incredibly average. She doesn't stand out at all in that way for me. She's just like the rest. Her promo is quite cringeworthy. Her wrestling ability is... She's so forgettable to me. Everything that she does is forgettable to me.
She should be a heel. That's another one. You should be a heel.
She's 100%. Alan's got a great point. Yeah, she's also really miscast as a babyface.
Yeah, she comes across as like this spoiled little brat.
Yeah,
you know, who probably should have like, you know, daddy bankrolling her all the time.
Exactly.
So that's what they should probably pair her up with some older guy, you know, playing her dad, and he's just like, oh, my little girl wants this, my little girl wants that. Of course, my little girl can have this. So basically, she's what's that? Veruca Salt from Willy Wonka.
That would be a very good kind of character to give her, Alan. That would work. I think that would. She would be able to pull that off a lot better than she can pull off the baby, because she's not likable. She's not a likable character. Where have we heard this before? Bloodline, Trick Williams. You see a common thread here. Yeah. So, right, Alan, the main event. I'm assuming this is the main event. It's the only world title match on the card.
Well, yeah, I would have thought Cody Rhodes is like the face of the company. Gunther's their top heel. He is. Yeah. And Sami Zayn is conveniently in a feud with both of them. So, and
this is Saudi, where Sami Zayn does have, even though the fans barely react to him at Royal Rumble, which is interesting. It's interesting that Saudi has come around again, and he yet again finds himself in a world title match. There's a reason for that, of course. That's why I'm wondering maybe they do put the belt on him in Saudi.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. There's for me, there's just two outcomes. Cody retains, Sami takes it.
If we're going with Jey Uso winning, right? So what do you do then, right? So if we both said that we both think Jey Uso is going to win, we don't want it to happen. We both think it's going to. So let's rule out Jey Uso versus. I know that we can't technically rule it out, but let's just surely not. Jey Uso versus Gunther again. They surely can't really be. That cannot be even on the table. So let's just try to put a little bit of logic and say that that's not on the table. So that's ruling Gunther out then. Are we saying that Gunther's got no chance here?
Yeah, I think he's got a chance. I've actually just thought of something that's completely wild, but it's a possibility. Jey wins King of the Ring.
Yeah.
Cody retains.
Yeah, I can see
that. Right.
That.
Somewhere between Night of Champions and SummerSlam, Jey Uso is taken out in a mystery attacker storyline. CM Punk returns. Says, "Oh, Cody, Jay's out. You haven't got a challenger anymore. I'll fight you at SummerSlam." Cody accepts. Later down the line, we find that LA Knight is the one who attacked Jey Uso, and he's made a pact with CM Punk because them two have got a bit of a history together. You know, they don't like each other. Kayfabe.
Yeah.
CM Punk turns heel in the process, as does LA Knight.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
No.
But we won't get that because we think logically they don't. That's the only way I can see this working. Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes. If Jey Uso wins, then it's either Cody Rhodes or Sami Zayn. Gunther, no chance. He hasn't, because no one wants to see Jey versus Gunther Part 3.
So Jey versus Cody, I believe they might have wrestled on a SmackDown or something. I'm sure they've wrestled each other before, like on a weekly show. But I can't remember a big time match between them. So you could arguably say that it's a fresh match. It's not a match I think anyone wants to see, but it is a new match. And maybe they think that's enough. Maybe a new match is all they're going for here. So technically, it would be a new-ish match. A match that anyone wants to see? I don't think so. But a newish match, right? So maybe they think that's enough. Maybe they think that's enough of a draw because, They used to be tag team champions together. Oh, Jey Uso helped Cody finish his story when he took out Jimmy Uso at WrestleMania 42 or whatever it was. Oh, they've been friends ever since. That's the story, right? I'm not that interested, but I can see them going with it. Or the other story is, again, Sami Zayn. They've got history in the bloodline. They became Usos or whatever it was called. Sami Zayn was honorary Us and all that stuff they did with him and Jey Uso hating each other. Then they become best friends. And then Jey Uso, when they kicked Sami Zayn out of the bloodline, Jey Uso didn't want to do it and he was conflicted. And all this stuff they've done. And now Sami Zayn's changed into this kind of tweener character now. He's like a whiner. Conspiracy theory kind of character now. So Sami Zayn's kind of a heel, more or less a heel, not a full heel kind of thing. He's kind of in that middle ground still, but more. I think he's more of a heel than a babyface nowadays. So he's kind of turned heel, and Jey Uso's now going to be, oh, what happened to you, Sammy? We used to be tight Us. Now you've changed. You've become the world champion. You've changed. You've won it with nefarious means. What's happened to you? You can see the story that they could do. Do I want it? No.
Yeah. No,
but they haven't. They haven't done it. They haven't done it though. They haven't actually done the Sami Zayn, Jey Uso storyline. They actually have never done it. So that's why they might think there's enough history to play for. The thing is, Alan, you don't main event SummerSlam with Sami Zayn versus Jey Uso.
No, you don't. That happens on the show where it's Brock versus over.
That's the only way it could work. The title match can't go unlost.
Yeah, it'll be Jey. If that's the case, it'll be Jey versus Sami in the opening contest.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see that being the opening contest on maybe night 1 or night 2. Yeah. They'd have to. Right. So, God, it is a difficult one. I think Gunter's got no chance. Because Jey Uso is winning King of the Ring, I don't think Gunter's got a chance. I'm ruling him completely out. So it's just, do I think they're more likely to do Jey versus Cody or Jey versus Sami? I don't know. Honestly, it's a difficult one.
It's definitely 50-50.
Ryan says Cody.
Yeah, for the reasons I was suggesting, the whole, injury angle, backstage mystery attacker thing, which they won't do, but but for that reason, I'm going to say Cody. Because I've heard it's meant to be Cody versus Punk at SummerSlam. Sorry.
Yeah, but the only way that can happen, Alan, is if they Cody versus Punk doesn't work without the belt. Why would they have it without the belt?
Exactly. So this is why I want Cody winning.
Yeah, but then what did Jey Uso do then?
Don't care. Don't care what he does. Sit on the sidelines. Watch real people wrestle. Learn some moves, maybe. Every move doesn't have to be a super kick and a spear.
No, he's terrible. There's no. I can't argue. He's
and that whole running it back yeet shit. That got old quickly, and he's still doing it.
Yeah, it's terrible. Oh God, you know what? I'm going to go with Sami Zayn.
Okay.
I'm not that confident on it. I'm confident Gunter doesn't win. I'm not. The other two, it really is a coin flip for me. I actually don't think it is going to be Punk versus. I don't think it is. I want it to be. I'd much rather see Cody versus Punk, but I think Sami wins. I think they then run Sami versus. I think they run Sami versus Jey.
Because they had this thing, didn't they? After Punk lost his title, and he went, he confronted Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes, said, you want this, anytime you want, you got it. They have to play on that at some point.
Yeah, yeah. When Cody and Punk do eventually wrestle, whenever that is, I do think that if it's not now, it will be. If it's not going to be a SummerSlam, then it is. that match is going to take place either at SummerSlam or at WrestleMania. I don't know which one. So if it doesn't take place at SummerSlam, then you don't do it until next WrestleMania. Does that make sense?
Saudi Mania.
Yeah. Yeah.
So which means Punk might win the Rumble then.
I think there's a good chance of that. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. Place your bets.
Yeah, there's a decent chance of that. Yeah. So there you go. So there you go. So me and Alan generally agree on most stuff other than the main event. Alan's gone with Cody, which I am choosing Sammy, but it's really not by a high percent.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same. It's an easy 50-50 between the two.
Yeah.
Gunther might as well not be there.
I just can't see them doing Gunther versus Jey Uso. I just can't. I think that would be so. The backlash for that match from most fans. I know Jey Uso does have his fans. I'm not saying that he doesn't, because the sheep in the crowd do the yeet stuff. But if you look at like the online community, for example, the amount of dislikes that Jey Uso generates on YouTube videos, you'd be surprised. He's actually quite disliked, more than you wouldn't know it that much on the arena. And maybe the WWE don't care. Maybe all they care about is, hey, do people yeet? Yes, they do. That's all they care about. Maybe that is all they care about. I mean, maybe this is the evidence you need that is all they care about. But I mean, the general backlash between the online community, they say they don't care about the online. They do. They do care about the online community. They say they don't, but of course they do. They've got people watching all the stuff, right? That's what they do. So they do care about the backlash, and I think the Jey Uso will generate him winning King of the Ring alone is going to generate a lot of bad blood. So they're really going to do part of that already.
Yep, I'll have Twitter on standby to watch that when I watch that match.
Yeah. Ryan doesn't want Sammy to win. Well, he might not. If it's not going to be Sammy, it's going to be Cody. He wants Over versus Roman at SummerSlam. I think that's more likely for WrestleMania next year. If The Rock says no, if The Rock doesn't want to wrestle Roman, then I think that's the obvious match, isn't it? So yeah, a lot's going to depend if The Rock wants that Saudi money or not. Have to see how his movies do over the next couple of months. Right. So thank you guys for joining us. That is our predictions. The show is on Saturday evening at 6 p.m.
6 on Netflix in the UK.
There has been talk. I'm not going to promise this because I haven't agreed to it with the other guys. But there has been talk that maybe we could cover it live. Not saying we're guinea because I can't speak for Com, but there is a chance. I know that me and Alan might be willing to do it live. I don't know.
Yeah, but I can do it live. It'd be funny.
I'll ask Com as well. I don't think Kev. I know that Kev can't do it.
Yeah, he's busy. He's busy. Yeah.
So you might get a live coverage, but I don't want to promise it because I need to speak to Com about it. So I'm not going to promise it. But I'll speak to Com and see if he wants to as well. So you might get a 3-man live coverage of Night of Champions. We can have a giggle at them. Yeah,
I think that'd be actually quite funny.
Because it's earlier in the day, so that means none of us have to start till 3 a.m. So it's a good opportunity where it's a Saturday evening. So we're probably going to be watching it anyway. So why not? We'll let you guys know. Look out for it. I think there's a good chance. Like I said, I'll talk to Com later on tonight and see if he wants to do it. So yeah, you might get a lot of live coverage of Night of Champions on Saturday evening. So look out for that. But I want to say thanks to Alan, the $1 million man, Alan. Yep, Oakland.
Yeah.
And I am Jesse the Pilgrim Ventura, as Gorilla calls him at Survivor Series, I think. So thank you again. We'll be back sometime next week after the pay-per-view. I mean, we'll be back for our weekly show Wednesday or Thursday. We try to do Wednesdays, but sometimes we can't. But it'll be probably midweek next week at some point. Early evening normally. And we'll be talking about we'll have a review of Night of Champions, and then whatever happens on Raw. We should have at least a decent idea, probably at least by after Raw, especially if Punk does come back.
July he's coming back.
Oh, is it the week after? Okay, so
maybe... it's like 9th of July or something. Whatever. Bear with me. I might be able to. I think it's like the first Monday. Yeah, I think it's the 6th of July. I think he's due back.
Okay.
Because he's coming from Chicago.
Right, yeah. So we might not actually know then the proper SummerSlam main event until Punk comes back to see if they are going to somehow get him into a match with Cody. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we'll have a decent idea probably after the pay-per-view and then after Raw of maybe the potential card. We'll probably at least know probably the main events, at least on Raw anyway. So yeah, please do join us next week for our thoughts on the pay-per-view. PLE, sorry, get told off. And Raw as well. But yeah, thank you guys again. Thank you to $1 Million Man Alan. Thank you to Tequila, the Body Ventura McMahon. And as always, to quote the best comment, I've said that Jesse's the best commentator. He pales in comparison to the best play-by-play commentator, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Yeah.
What a maneuver! Take care.